ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸੁੱਚਾ ਆਪ ਹੋਏ, ਸੁੱਚੈ ਬੈਠਾ ਆਏ। ਸੁੱਚੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਰੱਖਿਓਣ, ਕੋਇ ਨਾ ਪਿਟਿਓ ਜਾਏ। ਸੁੱਚਾ ਹੋਇ ਕੈ ਜੀਵਿਆ, ਲੱਗਾ ਪੜਨ ਸ਼ਲੋਕ। ਖੁੱਤੀ ਜਾਏ ਸੱਟਿਆ, ਕਿਸ ਏ ਲੱਗਾ ਦੋਖ। ਅੰਨ ਦੇਵਤਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇਵਤਾ, ਬੈਸੰਤਰ ਦੇਵਤਾ ਲੂਣ। ਪੰਜਵਾਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਿਰਤ, ਤਾ ਹੁਆ ਪਾਕ ਪਵਿੱਤ। ਪਾਪੀ ਸਿਉ ਤਨ ਗੱਡਿਆ, ਥੁੱਕਾਂ ਪਈਆਂ ਤਿੱਤ। ਜਿਤ ਮੁਖ ਨਾਮ ਨ ਉਚਰੈ, ਬਿਨ ਨਾਵੈ ਰਸ ਖਾਏ। ਨਾਨਕ ਇਵੈ ਜਾਣੀਐ, ਤਿਤ ਮੁਖ ਥੁੱਕਾਂ ਪਾਏ। Last week we talked about what is sutak. Sutak is nothing but impurity. When people believe that that person has become impure, or when somebody has attended the funeral, or somebody has attended the birth ceremony, or during the child's birth, whosoever was involved, they think that it is sutak. So everything was discussed about impurity, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji told us what impurity is. Now, in this one, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is going to talk about the purity, what purity is. Sucha, as in there is actually no, other than pure, there is no similar kind of any translation for Sucha. But, Maharaj is talking about the rituals. Maharaj na ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ brahmanical rituals ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, and these rituals are there in us also. Although Guru Nanak Dev Ji removed these rituals among us, but we still have these rituals. ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ? I mean, there are two things, right? We need to understand very carefully. We have to go in depth. Not just ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ. We have to read it, we have to understand as ਆਪਾਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਕੀ ਹੈ, what exactly is the message of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. ਦੇਖੋ, never get confused about certain things. Why? Whatever is being done, if there is no logic behind it, then it is an empty ritual. But whatever the traditions are, if there is a logic behind it, try to find the logic. Otherwise, what will happen will confuse ourselves. That is what is happening in the Panth today. We have left side and the right side, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji's path was the middle side. We have to look into the logic, as well as this game is of mind. This game is not of the physical body. But we do certain things to the physical body so that our mind can be active. To give you an example, before even we dive into this, it is recommended when you get up in the morning at Amrit Vela, you take a bath. At least take a bath. If you can't take a cold bath, at least normal water, normal temperature bath. Why? Why it is needed? Because if you will just sit without taking a bath, what will happen? It's not here that you're purifying yourself. Yes, you are, especially if you are going in the Sangat, and if you are sweating and all that stuff, you'll be stinking, right? So it's better to take a bath, number one reason. But even if you are sitting alone, what will happen if you want to sit for a couple of hours to do Bhakti and Simran? You will doze off very fast. If you are getting up early in the morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or whatever time. But I know someone, he said, when I take a bath, I actually feel sleepy. I said, okay, then that's up to you, right? So everything has a logic. So whenever you take a cold bath, you will wake up. At least it actually applies to me, at least. So if something doesn't apply to you, that's fine. But here Maharaj is saying, when we make something a ritual, right? When we say anything we are going to do, we have to take a bath. Again, when you are taking a bath and you're trying to remove the filth of the physical body, that is a different thing. But when you think that while taking a bath, after taking, you are purifying yourself, no, that doesn't help. Why? Maharaj says, Pehla sucha aap hoye, sucha baitha aaye, suche agge rakhiyon, koi na pite ho jaye. So Maharaj is here talking about that first, these Brahmins, they used to purify themselves by taking a bath. And then they will sit, and then before even if they have to eat the food, they will still purify themselves. They think that they are purifying themselves. How is that? Because antar mail lagi na jane baro malmal toye. Maharaj is pointing towards that. That inside the mind is filthy, but he is busy in purifying outside. The mind is not pure. So that's why we have to go a little bit deep, why we do certain things, right? At the end of the day, we are not this physical body, we are the mind which is living in this body. So then what happens? Suche agge rakhyon, koe na pite ho jaye. So then first they will clean themselves, then they will go to the kitchen, and then they will uh, get a food for themselves. And then what they will do? Sucha hoye kya jevya, lagga padan slok. Then they will read some slok. They will read something from the Vedas, from the scriptures, right? Now let's compare what we do. Let's do comparison in parallel. We also sometimes read slok, but do we actually mean it? Sometimes we say Jay Prasad Chati Amrit Khahe, this Thakur ko Rakh Man Mahe. But what is the idea is that we should be thanking to Vaheguruji, that thank you Vaheguruji that you have given me the food. But if he is somebody like there is a Brahminical traditions on certain day, on certain lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, you have to, before eating the food, you have to purify yourself in a certain way, and then you have to read this part and all. What is happening is sometimes we are too busy in that, and we have kind of made it a rituals. Maharaj is criticizing that part. So very important that we take a deep dive. Kuthi jai satya, kis a lagga dokh. Maharaj says the food, after then first he cleans himself, then he will go to the rasoi, as into the kitchen, and then they will put it in the clean utensils, the food. Then he will read some slok or some part from the Vedas. Then he thinks everything is purified. But Maharaj is questioning here. Maharaj is saying, then after that, what is doing? Kuthi jai satya, kis a lagga dokh. Then he is putting the food inside himself, inside the body. And what is body made out of? Filth. Bishta astarakat parete cham. Right? Maharaj says that body is made out of bishta. What is bishta? Bishta is filth, right? Malmutar, right? Ast is the bones. Rakat is blood. Parete charm, and then the skin is on top of that. So body itself is impure. How can you clean inside, right? In your stomach, there is a lot of digested food is there, right? Which will come out in the morning or whenever it is the time, right? So it is impure anyway. So my saying, now you made it pure and you put it inside the impure thing. So is it still the pure? Then if if you think that impurity is bad, then now you are putting it into impure thing, then who will take the ownership for that? You are making putting the pure thing into the impure thing. Because Maharaj is telling us, giving us some knowledge. Maharaj says, An Devta, Pani Devta, Besantar Devta Loon, Panjwa Paya Kirt, Ta Hua Pak Puvit. Maharaj says, when we make food, when we make an, it is an is wheat is, or it can be anything. It can be wheat flour, millets, whatever, grains or anything, right? or lentils. When I'm saying, because it is the farmer has grown it, it is pure by itself. You don't have to do anything to purify it. Pani, how can you purify your water? Food is made out of water. How can you purify the water? Water itself is pure. It is like a devta, it's like an angel, because it gives us the nourishment, right? The physical nourishment. Loon, salt, that is also fire, basantar, is also pure. Much as all these things which are the ingredients or the fuel which is needed to cook the food, even the kyo, desi kyo, right? Oil, you can say oil these days, right? Masters, everything is pure already. How can you make them purify? It's already purified. Ta hua pak pavitra. Masters, when you take all these together and cook them, they are already pavitra. They are already purified. How can you make them further purified? Because it is given to us by Vaiguruji. If we put a seed in the farm, we can only put a seed. We can take care of it by put the water, the sun is there. But what if something natural disaster happens, floods come in, maybe the food will not come out. So that means we depend on Vaiguruji for even our food. Farmers depend on the all the weather and other thing, on the kudrat, on the nature, how the nature is going to behave, how the Vaiguruji is going to behave at the end of the day. That's why they do ardas all the time. So it is already given to us by Vaiguruji. So that's what my Maharaj is saying here. Papi syotan gadya thukka paiyan tit. Maharaj says, and when the food is cooked, you put it in your mouth. You what are you doing when you put it in the mouth? Your spit, or your saliva, I should say. Here Maharaj has used the word spit actually. Your saliva is actually being used to digest your food, right? Onto the the pure food, and then the pure food is it's mixed with your saliva, which is impure. Maharaj says this is all the natural process. You have to go through this process. You can't make food pavitra, but what you can do, you can thank to Vaiguruji who has given you this food. ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ, that you have given us the food. We can pray, say thank you, because there are a lot of people in this world, they don't get the food, and Maharaj is giving us the food, so we can do a shukrana, we can do a thank. That is the kind of a prayers we should do. And Maharaj says how the food actually becomes purified. Now Maharaj tells the process here. Jit mukh naam na jit mukh naam na uchra bin naave ras khaye nanak eve jaaniye tit mukh thukka paaye. Maharaj says, if you are not connected with the Naam, if your mind is not connected with the Naam, if your mind is not chanting the Naam, then what is happening? Bin nave ras khaye. And without connecting your mind with the Naam, without chanting, if you are eating food, you might have done lot of prayers, lot of part, or anything. It is not pure. Only purity is when our mind is connected with the Vaheguru first, and then we eat it. So the first thing when we get up in the morning, we should connect our mind with the Vaheguru. Without that, we should not eat, because we are impure. Now again, remember, Maharaj is telling us what is pure, what is impure. Now don't make it a ritual also. If you feel like when you get up drinking a water, drink it, because if you will eat food anyway early in the morning at the Amrit Vela, you will not be able to jap Naam properly. If you want to drink a water, that's fine, right? Because you might have an acidity and all that. But idea is that you have to separate the needs of the physical body and the needs of the mind. Once mind is purified, then it is okay. You don't have to do prayers and all to purify the food, because food is anyway given to us by Vaheguru Ji. Nanak eme janiye. This is the way. Otherwise, what will happen? If you don't chant the Naam, tit mukh thukka pae. It is like you will be spat on your face. Somebody is spitting on your face. It is just like that. So Maharaj is very clear about the things. Maharaj is there to point the physical rituals which we do, which are empty rituals, which are pointless, which is a pakhand. So we have to, Maharaj is telling us we should not do this, these kind of hypocrisies, right? And what happens is sometimes we do all these rituals when some people are around us. ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਖਾਣੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ. When nobody is around us, we say, oh, nobody is there, right? In a hypocrisy, who wants to do the ardas and all? Let's eat it. So we have to check ourselves, introspect ourselves, every action, right? Every action. Are we doing to show others, or are we actually doing it mindfully? Everything is mindfulness. Our mind, if our mind is not present, we can do so many ardas, it doesn't matter. We can read banis, it doesn't matter. If our mind is not listening, we can whole day we can read Gurbani, but if our mind is not present, mind is absent, nothing is going to help. So mind has to be present when we do Simran, when we do Bani reading. Mind has to gaviye, suniye. Sunna, who has to listen? The mind has to listen. What is physical body? Physical body is nothing. It's going to, we are going to leave this physical body one day here. ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ. Now let's move next. ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ. ਭੰਡ ਜਮੀਏ, ਪੰਡ ਨਿਮੀਏ, ਭੰਡ ਮੰਗਣ ਵਿਆਹੋ, ਭੰਡੋਂ ਹੋਵੈ ਦੋਸਤੀ, ਭੰਡੋਂ ਚੱਲੈ ਰਾਹੋ, ਭੰਡ ਮੂਆ ਭੰਡ ਟਾਲੀਐ, ਭੰਡ ਹੋਵੈ ਬੰਦਾਨ, ਸੋ ਕਿਉ ਮੰਦਾ ਆਖੀਐ, ਜਿਤ ਜੰਮੈ ਰਾਜਾਨ, ਭੰਡੋਂ ਹੀ ਭੰਡ ਉਪਜੈ, ਭੰਡੈ ਬਾਜ ਨਾ ਕੋਏ, ਨਾਨਕ ਭੰਡੈ ਬਾਹਰਾ, ਏਕੋ ਸੱਚਾ ਸੋਏ, ਜਿਤ ਮੁਖ ਸਦਾ ਸਲਾਹੀਐ, ਭਾਗਾਂ ਰੱਤੀ ਚਾਰ, ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ, ਤਿਤ ਸੱਚੈ ਦਰਬਾਰ. Now, in those days, even today, people think that the females are lesser than the men. And in some cultures or religions, they also, they also are sad when the female baby is born. And Maharaj in 1469, right? In 1400s, we should say. Maharaj actually, late 1400s, Maharaj brought this concept, which was a very new concept for any culture at that point of time. Everywhere, the duties were separate. This thing female can do, this thing male can do, female cannot do. There were so many. Today also, in today's age also, there's so many biases, right? And Maharaj is, the whole concept of the Gurbani is that we are the mind. We are not this physical body. If we are the mind, mind is also formless, and Vaheguruji is also formless. How does it matter what kapde we have, what clothes we have, how we look like? How does it matter at that point of time, right? So that's why Maharaj's concept is that males and females are same, equal, doesn't matter. What makes you better is based on your karam, based on your actions, what actions you do, what kind of a character you have. Just because you are a male doesn't make you better. That's what Maharaj is talking about here. Pand is female, woman, right? Pand jamiye, pand nimiye, pand mangan vyaho. Maharaj says, if you man, you think you are better, can you even come to this earth without a female? If your mother is not there, how will you be born? Pand jamiye, pand nimiye, pand mangan vyao. Then what happens? You came here through a woman. You were for 10 months, 9 months, 10 months, whatever you want to say. You were in in your mother's womb. Pand mangan vyaho. Now you want to get married. You again want to get married with a woman. So why you are so hypocrite? ਕਿਉਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਖੰਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵਾ ਥੱਲੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ? ਭੰਡੋ ਹੋਵੇ ਦੋਸਤੀ, ਭੰਡੋ ਚੱਲੇ ਰਾਹੋ। ਫਿਰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ is saying, when you are growing up, when you become in your youth, you get into a friendship also with a woman, and your future generations will come through through the woman. So why this hypocrisy? ਭੰਡ ਮੂਆ, ਭੰਡ ਡਾਲੀਐ, ਭੰਡ ਹੋਵੇ ਬੰਧਾਨ. Your all the attachment, your all the relationship is through women. When you are at the marriage age, your parents will start, in those days, parents or you will start searching for your match. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਮੈਚ ਲੱਭੋਗੇ ਫਿਰ. So why we say bad things about the woman? That's what Maharaj is saying. So kyo manda akhiya jit jamme rajan. So why you are calling it bad? Why you calling that it is manda, it is bad? Why? Because without the woman, even the kings, the famous kings, or we can say any popular person, they can't even come to this world. Because man cannot have a womb, only woman has a womb. So that's why Maharaj is reminding us, because in those days they also used to consider women impure, and they said the men are pure. There are certain even rituals, the Brahmins, the Pandits, they used to do all the puja. Males or the men used to do all the puja, not women. Women were not allowed. They were only responsible for taking care of the kitchen. Pandon hi pand upja, pandai baj na koe. I says even female come through female. Without the female, nobody is there in this world. No human, no, not any other 84 lakh June, no other species. There has to be a relationship between male and female. Without female, no reproduction can carry on. But Maharaj is telling us that who is formless, genderless, it's Vaheguru. Nanak Pandai Bahara, Eko Sacha Soe, only Vaheguru Sache Pasha he's self-created, Sapunk. He created himself. Jit Mukh Sada Salahiye, Pagan Ratti Char. Or says, what we have to do is, we have to always remember Vaheguru. And then only we will become beautiful. Then only, here Maharaj has word used, char. Char, Maharaj is talking about 4 Vedas here. Maharaj says by reading just the Vedas and all, because again, only men were allowed to read the Vedas. Only Brahman men, even Khatris had to go, because remember we have discussed about the 4 Varnas. The 4 caste systems were Brahmins, Khatris, Shudra, and Vash. Only Brahmins were allowed to study Vedas and all, and the Khatris used to go to Brahmins to learn about the Vedas. And even Shudras, even the Vash were allowed, but even they had to call the Brahmins. But Shudras were not even allowed, the laborers. anybody who used to do hand based work, they were not allowed to read the Hindu scriptures or the Vedas. So here Maharaj is telling us, Jit mukh sada salahiye, paga rati char. That if we are remembering Vaheguru all the time, it is as good as reading the four Vedas. When we do the Simran with the Jukti, what is the Jukti? What is the technique? Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pao. We have to chant from our tongue, listen from our ears. Very important. Because if we'll not listen, then it also become a ritual. Sarvani suniye, rasna gaiye, hirde te ye soy. With love. The pyar has to be there. Maharaj saying, then when we will use that technique, Jitmukh Sada Salahi, all the time. People ask, should I do Simran for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Maharaj is saying all the time. Sada. Jitmukh Sada Salahi hai. Pagarati Char. It is as good as reading the four Vedas. You are fortunate. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਾਗਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੋ. You are fortunate. ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ tit sache darbar, and doesn't matter you are a man, or you are a woman, right? Doesn't matter you are a male or a female, does not matter. But if you are remembering Vaheguru all the time, what will happen when you will go to the dargah, when you will go to the court of Vaheguru? Nanak te mukh ujale tit sache darbar. When in his darbar, in his court, your mouth, your face will shine. Your face will shine, and people will know. When I say people, as in the sukham, the subtle bodies will know that this is the person who japt the naam, who remembered Vaheguru all the time. Because when we will remember the Vaheguru all the time, mindfulness again, always remembering Vaheguru, then only we can understand this scheme. Then we will not differentiate between the castes, between the religions, between the ethnicity, between the gender. Then only we will know everybody is same. It doesn't matter who is who. Doesn't matter whether person is Hindu, whether the person is Sikh, whether person is Muslim, whether the person is Christian. Doesn't matter, or Jain or Buddhist. Nobody is superior. Everybody will be the same, because we have to love everybody, because everybody has Vaheguruji's Jyot. And Vaheguruji has given equal opportunity. Whosoever will do the japna, whosoever will do the japna with the jukti given to us by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pao. पौड़ी सबको आखे अपना जिस नाही सो चुन कड्डिए. Now Maharaj is saying that everybody, most of the people, majority of the people, right? They say, oh, Vaheguruji is mine, right? But Maharaj is saying, we can tell people, we can say to people that, oh, I love Vaheguruji, I do Simran. Out of the ego, we can do a lot of things. We can say all of things. But Maharaj is saying, when you are going to go to the dargah, Yamraj is going to see what you brought. What did you brought in your lekha? What did you brought in your account? Did you jap the naam, or you spent your swas, spent your breath in other things? ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਵਾਸ ਬਾਕੀ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਲਾਏ ਨੇ ਤ੍ਰੈ ਗੁਣ ਮਾਇਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, in Rajo Gun, Tamo Gun, Satto Gun, and you have not japt the naam, then you will be thrown out from the dargah. Meaning, you will be going to the 84 lakh June. Kita apo apna, ape hi lekha sandiye. We will be responsible for our own actions, nobody else. Why Guruji give everybody some opportunity in their life? Sometimes we say, oh, they don't know the game. How we don't know what's going on in their head, how many interactions they had with different people. Maybe they ignored it. And we should not look down upon others. No home, very important. If we will bring home, Naam will not stay there. They say, oh, I do Amrit Vela, I jap Naam, I do this, I do that. That is all exaggeration. Why? That will also be written in our account that this person on so date and so time, Chitragupt will. Who is a Chitragupt? Chitragupt is a person, Chitragupt. He is a secret agent who is clicking our picture and he's putting everything in the iPad, right? And yeah, he's going to show it to the Jamraj that that's what every second, every fraction of a second, this person did this. He lied, he cheated, he stealed. What good is Naam then? हर हर करे नित कपट कमावे हिरदा शुद्ध न होए. If we are doing Vaheguru, but we are doing all the bad things, Maharaj says, then the saying Vaheguru is not going to go anywhere. Why? Because the people who will have a kapat, who will do the bad stuff, who are dishonest, and they have not gone through the realization. If somebody has realized their mistakes, that's a different thing. But if somebody has not realized their mistakes, then what is going to happen? They're going to say, oh, I'm right. A lot of people are like that. They will do Japna also, then they will do Nindya Chugli also, gossiping and slandering also. They'll go to the Gurdwara, they'll do gossiping and slandering. We have to check ourselves. Again, when I say they, it should be we. We should check ourselves. I should check myself rather than pointing out to anybody. I should say, why do I get angry? Do I do Nindya Chugli? First step is recognize our own disease. Otherwise, we'll be also thrown out of the dargah. Kita apu apna. We are responsible for our deeds. We are responsible for our actions. Ape hi lekha sandiye. We are responsible for our account. Even if today, but why Guruji is so Dayalu Kripalu, if today also we realize, the realization is there that I'm doing bad, why Guruji will help us right away. And if we are doing every day something, then we should do the ardas all the time. And that's why Gurmukh Pyare read all the time this ardas. Lekha katena chutiye. Khin khin pulanhar. Bakshanhar bakshla. Nanak Paravatar. What does it mean? That every second, every fraction of the second, I am doing something bad. And if you will look into my account, it is going to be very bad. So please don't look into my account. What does that mean? That doesn't mean that we keep on doing it. That means is that our realization is there and we do ardas benti. And why so that Vaiguruji Bakshlan Sanu. What is this corona going on? It is our mistakes. We have created the coronavirus because we have played with the nature. We have been cutting the trees. We have been eating the wild animals and whatnot. We are doing all this imbalance in the nature. We are responsible. And that's why the results are in front of us. Young people are dying. Now, don't think that, okay, oh, I didn't do anything. No, who knows? Maybe we did this in the last birth. And that's what Maharaj is saying. Kita apu apna, appe hi lekha sandi. We are responsible for our actions, our own actions. Ja rehna nahi et jag, ta kayat garb handiye. Maharaj says, you see people are dying left and right in front of you, and you are still have an ego. You still live in the ego. Are you going to live here forever? Then if you are not going, if you are here for temporary, everybody has to go one day, then why the ego? And that's what Maharaj is saying in next line. And don't tell that other people are doing the bad. Think about your own deeds. Look inside yourself, introspect. Don't point fingers. A lot of people say, oh, Chinese virus, this, that. Stop saying all these things. We all are one. People do mistakes. We have done thousands of mistakes. Just ask for forgiveness from Vaheguru. ਮਾਫੀ ਮੰਗੋ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਕੋਲੋਂ, ਉਹ ਬਖਸ਼ ਲਓ। ਮਾਲਕ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ ਲਓ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ ਲਓ। ਮੰਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਆਖੀਏ। Don't call anybody bad. ਮੰਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਆਖੀਏ। ਪੜ ਅੱਖਰ ਇਹੋ ਬੁਝੀਏ। This is the secret, Maharaj is saying. This is the secret, and Maharaj is telling us the secret. That if you want to carry across, ਤਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਭਵ ਸਾਗਰ ਤੋਂ, if you want to cross this ocean of fire, then this is the secret ingredient. Manda kise na kiye. And what happens if somebody is trying to argue with you? Maharaj says, Murkhe naal na lujiye. People use this word, Murkhe naal na lujiye, and they twist the Gurbani and they say, oh, this is a stupid person. We should not talk with the stupid people. No. Maharaj, what is the first line to that? Manda kise na kiye. Don't say anybody that anybody is a fool. But if you think when somebody is like, if somebody is like in front of you and saying all the rubbish, don't do the sangat. Run away from there. Say the fateh and go away. Don't argue. Murkhe nalna luji. Every Asa-Ki-Vaar is the lifestyle of a Gurmukh. Pyare. But if we read all this thing, now even we have gone a little bit in depth and done the vichar also. But if we don't take any of this back home as in if we don't act as per Asa-Ki-Vaar, then who is the Murak? We are the Murak. We are the fools then. Because just reading Gurbani again and again and again and again is not going to help unless we implement it. Whatever we learn, we have to implement it. That's why we have to do the Nitnem again and again, because we forget. But every time we listen to Asa-Ki-Vaar, remember and listen each and every line carefully so that we can implement and see what is happening inside us, in our mind. Do the self introspection. Don't point fingers on others. Oh, he does that. He does that. No blame game. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Any questions, Vaheguru Ji, on this?